why people are getting on their knees and praying for a divine intervention, praying for God's intervention, because this world is getting so dark and twisted and evil, and it's ruled by such sadistic and diabolical forces. And so I repeat it, this I think is the most powerful part. Only a divinely inspired force can overcome this Goliath. The world will be redeemed by acts of goodness and kindness. We need collective divine consciousness in order to merit divine intervention. The owners of the Vanguard BlackRock monopoly are a manifestation of the primordial serpent, the devil. The owners of this planet are a manifestation of the devil.
Okay, I'm here at Real Raw News. This is an article about Dr. Francis Collins, who worked with Dr. Fauci at the NIH. Okay, so it says JAG schedules Dr. Francis Collins Military Tribunal. The U.S. Navy Judge Advocate General Corps and the Office of Military Commissions have scheduled former NIH honcho Dr. Francis Collins Military Tribunal for Monday, January 31st, a JAG source told Real Raw News. As reported, U.S. Special Forces arrested Collins on December 20th while he was driving from Maryland to his daughter's home in Virginia. Upon being served a military arrest warrant charging him with treason and murder, the sniveling deep state doctor collapsed in tears and said he had done no wrong, and seemed shocked that administration officials were being charged with crimes against the nation. The breadth of the crimes and evidence against him will be disclosed at tribunal, our source said. Asked why Fauci is still at large, he said, he won't be for much longer. Okay, so most people think that Dr. Fauci will be the next big arrest, and yes, he will be arrested, and that's his double. But according to Commander Thor, from an inside source, he says he thinks that this guy named Tim Osman, aka Osama bin Laden, will be the next big arrest. So this is Tim Osman, who works for the CIA in the 1980s, and he played the role of Osama bin Laden. I know everybody thought he was killed and that he was implicated in the whole 9/11 sham and everything. And that was the name Tim Osman signed to him by the CIA. And he's still alive. Here's a picture of him with George Bush. Ridiculous. And he's looking like Osama there. Majority of the people don't know that Osama bin Laden was a CIA agent in the 1980s, Tim Osman as his alias. Okay, so I'm here at Telegram and just checking on some things that came in today. So this morning we had this huge volcanic eruption underwater, the eruption of a Hunga Tonga volcano. It's been spewing ash intermittently, which has been detected in all directions, up to 18 miles. The head of Tonga Geological Services, Taniela Kula, said the danger grade for the ash is currently at level orange, with red being the most severe. Fortunately, no ash has fallen on homes yet. Now, this is from an anon. Tonga has some Chinese-owned tunnels and deep submarine access, thanks to the deep waters that surround the shallow coral shoreline. I'm not sure if anything nefarious happens there with locals, but interesting to find out down the track whether there's more to that island. So here's a map showing you where Tonga is, right there, kind of near Fiji, which is suspicious to me. This is coming from WorldWar3.info, possibly the first video of Russia moving aviation closer to Ukraine. And it says, not sure where this video was taken. In the spring, Russia moved dozens of Su-25SM-3 attack aircraft and helicopters to Crimea. So there's your false flag event, possibly, to get war started, to get an invasion started. That's at least what they're saying. Russian tanks are rolling towards Europe and coming closer to expand the Russian Empire. I don't think they're trying to expand the Russian Empire. I think they're reunifying the Soviet Union. But let's take a look anyway. And it's possible those are defensive moves, because NATO, I believe NATO is also putting different types of equipment, military and, soldiers and, all over the place in case Russia doesn't just move on Ukraine. So they're positioning themselves for some sort of standoff. The Iraqi military has reported a drone attack on the U.S. Balad Air Base in Saladin early Saturday. So we've been seeing a lot of these drone attacks on embassies and air bases and stuff coming out of Iran. And that's from CENTCOM. They are still at DEFCON level 2, by the way. This is more about the tsunami warning. This is coming from DEFCON level warning system. 10 Chinese military aircraft have entered the Taiwan's air defense identification zone. So not only do we have things happening along the Ukrainian border between Russia and Ukraine and NATO and the US, all of that, plus we have submarines, nuclear subs being spotted off of the US coast, and threats of Russia putting nukes or military positioning in Cuba, like the Cuban Missile Crisis, in Venezuela. But now we're seeing movement on the Chinese side towards Taiwan, which I'm not surprised. I had a feeling they would do this stuff at the same time. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Some of this I've already gone over, so. This says, is this why the Supreme Court ruled the way they did with Fed-funded healthcare? Folks, I think you're witnessing the death of the old healthcare system and the birth of a new one. America's Frontline Doctors vows to open its own clinics and invites medical staff and pharmacists to join them. So, yeah, there's got to be some transition happening right now. All right, this is from RT News. Again, this is what I consider a false flag event, even though, it really happened, but I think it was planned. And it's, spreading actually. And it's close to a facility that has some chlorine stockpiles, so that could be explosive. And they ramped up its sensitivity, so basically, just giving out false positives all over the place, which is what they wanted. Do you see the manipulation? So this is at the bottom. Sometimes the past can find the future. Q. And then look at the top. This was just posted on the 15th. Anyone who thinks my story is anywhere near over is sadly mistaken. So just to let you know, the Q posts are, there's so many connections. Biden continues to hide from tough questions. The interesting thing here is that's not the White House. It's really obvious. There's a playground. Take a look at the surroundings and everything. And he's walking like one of those robots. All right, there's so many problems with that picture. That little guardhouse is supposed to be way bigger than that. There's supposed to be a tree overhanging it. The whole scene is wrong. And there's a playground. And the weather's not right. So, I don't know. What does it take? All right, on Friday, North Korea fired what South Korea believes to have been 2 short-range ballistic missiles in retaliation to new sanctions proposed by the Biden administration for its new round of ballistic missile launches. So we have North Korea now starting up its testing of launches and testing of ballistic missiles, which is destabilizing the area. Okay, Russian news. Pravda has claimed that a Russian nuclear submarine with 160 nuclear warheads on board appeared off the U.S. coast and went unnoticed.
A Russian nuclear submarine with 160 nuclear warheads appeared off the U.S. coast. The Russian nuclear submarine of the Bory project, armed with 16 Bulava ballistic missiles, unexpectedly appeared off the coast of the United States, which greatly frightened Washington. Each of the missiles in service with the submarine is capable of carrying up to 10 nuclear warheads. This created an extremely serious danger for the United States, especially since it was not possible to trace the Russian nuclear submarine. As follows from the material presented by the NetEase publication, the Russian nuclear submarine of the Bory project. According to other sources, we can talk about the Akula project submarine. Approached the U.S. coast unnoticed, staying there for a very long time. It was possible to establish the location of the nuclear submarine carrying up to 160 nuclear warheads after the crew of the nuclear submarine began returning to the base, which greatly frightened the United States, especially in the face of clearly cooled relations between Moscow and Washington. The most powerful nuclear submarine in service with the Russian Navy, capable of carrying 160 nuclear warheads, boldly broke into the rear of the United States. 160 warheads of the nuclear submarine, Bory, is a good reason for Washington to be nervous about the Russian submarine, reports the publication, NetEase, emphasizing that Russia is ready to constantly keep the United States in suspense with its submarines, capable of destroying most of the territory of the United States of America in a few minutes. In the event that Russia really decides to equip a naval base in Cuba or in Venezuela, as reported by the Russian Foreign Ministry, Russian nuclear submarines can constantly patrol the waters near the U.S. coast. Obviously, this will become a very big problem for Washington.
This feels like the hunt for Red October happening, or the Cuban Missile Crisis. Samoa, which is near that volcanic eruption, directly connects to major trafficking networks. That's from The Guardian. This says next steps, and this is from Q the Storm Rider. Next steps in the event will be closing the Chinese ports, which we've seen already. Their beta test last year is complete. Now is the time to squeeze the supply chains worldwide. Scare event is necessary. Trigger. This is about Dr. Fauci. Senator publishes Fauci's unredacted financial disclosures. Accuses him of being misleading. He's a big liar. He doesn't know how to do anything else but lie. Fauci previously made headlines for calling Senator Marshall a moron during a hearing. I say that the senator has the last laugh here.